Hi, everyone. I'm here again with Tanya for our 5-minute weekly energy policy in Maine and New England update. And how are you, Tanya?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good. Okay, so we're going to talk about home rule today. How do you understand home rule in Maine?
So home rule, I did actually look this up. Home rule started back in, it was defined in 1969 in the Constitution, and it's the ability for local towns to control local problems rather than an all-in-one, state coming from Augusta telling everyone what to do and how to do it. This is local.
Okay. And so, do you think the state government can retroactively undo town ordinances that have been passed?
Yes. So right. So part of home rule is having, the towns have their ordinances that control what can be done, how it should be done, how land should be used within the town. One of the things that the local home rule can't do is go against a state law. Uh, and one of the things that the state has power to do is undo an ordinance where they feel that it's appropriate to undo that.
That seems kind of disappointing.
It is, and it does take that local rule. Local comes Augusta says what can be done and when it can be done and how it can be done,
Right.
regardless of what the local folks want.
Okay, so we know that a lot of towns in the central Maine area have passed ordinances
Mhm.
regulating how transmission lines, high voltage transmission lines can be installed. Do you
Right,
think
over
yeah.
a dozen towns have passed ordinances.
Do you think the state knows that, or do you think the Northern Maine RFP bidders know that?
Well, that's an interesting question. I Second answer first. I don't think the RFP bidders know. We know that from our meeting with National Grid that they were unaware of Albion's ordinance requiring all high voltage transmission lines to be built underground.
Hmm.
I would guess that most of the bidders are unaware of it. As far as whether the state knows or not, they probably don't, which is frustrating because the state also tells local municipalities to stay on top of what's happening in the state as it affects the local municipal towns. So you would think that the state should also be on top of what's happening locally.
Yeah.
What people want should also, inform the state powers that be in their decision making.
Right. Right. That's a good point. So we know that we've been watching closely this RFP for the Northern Maine transmission line and generation. And one of the things that we've all been wondering is we know that Maine has statutory goals for a percentage of clean energy by 2030, by 2040, by 2050. I don't remember the total details. But what happens with these power purchase agreements that are part of the RFP? Because those power purchase agreements, do we think they're for renewable energy credits?
That's a great question. We don't know the answer to that. And I don't know if we will know the answer to that because the power purchase agreements are going to be considered confidential, if I remember right. So if the power is bought by another state and the renewable energy credits are bought by another state, then it doesn't sound like Maine's going to be making any headway towards our renewable energy goals that are in statute. But
Right.
I don't know.
Right. So it would be a way to fund the transmission line and the wind turbines and use up, Maine landscape and resources
Right.
without having it count 100% towards Maine's renewable energy goals and statute.
Right, which are still going to be in statute, which will require more to be built.
Right. So then we could expect, I did a calculation, some years ago when we started researching this project and estimated that if Maine were to be used to supply all of the statutory renewable energy goals in New England, it would take up 9% of the Maine landmass.
Wow.
So we've both been researching this project for several years as in a volunteer basis, of course. Tanya, you're a mom and you have lots of children. And tell me what are the challenges of doing this as a volunteer?
Oh my goodness. Schedule, time, I am a mom. I've got 7 kids. Three of them, the 3 youngest, are teens. I homeschool them. We are very busy and very active, and trying to stay on top of all of this means a lot of time away from the family. It means, some dedicated late nights to research things and stay on top of it. And it is very frustrating. It's also frustrating when, I go to legislative committee meetings and they suddenly change the schedule, and I've already, jumped through a lot of hoops to get there. There's a lot of challenges.
Yeah. Well, we all thank you so much for doing this. Okay. I'll
Thank you.
see you next week.
All right, thanks.
Take